The kingdom of God is within you. It's not the kingdom of God was within you, or the kingdom of God will be within you. No, it's the kingdom of God is within you. What is the kingdom of God? Well, God is infinite, so that means it's everything and nothing. It's beyond anything you could imagine. So what more could you want? And I know what you're saying. Oh, I have all these different desires and goals and aspirations and needs, and I want this to happen and that to happen. But do you really? And something that I'm learning now with manifestation is it's like, in law of attraction, all of that kind of stuff, is it's like the things we think we want, we don't really want. What we really want is the emotion or the feeling that's attached to, or that we think is attached to, having what we think we want. So when we start to see this, it changes everything, because there are many people out there who have manifested or attracted all of these different material things, or a certain status, or some kind of title, or whatever. And they finally get there. And guess what? They're not happy. Or maybe they're happy for a little bit, but then it like fades out and they realize, oh, this has an expiration date on it. Or they realize, okay, I'm living my dream life. I have this and everything's perfect, but what if I lose it? I could lose it at any given point. And so the suffering starts. And so it's like, if that's the answer, if manifesting more material things, or just anything in the realm of this 3D earth realm is the answer, and it's what we're designed to be doing, then the question is, why do we feel so empty? And why do we not have the feelings that we think we'll have when these things come into our lives, right? So what we really want is not the things. What we want is the emotion or the feeling that comes with these things. We want freedom. We want joy. We want peace. We want the sense of feeling worthy and enough. That's what we really want. And the idea, the illusion, is if I just have it this way, or if life looked like this instead of that, or if I had this much, then I would be okay. Then I would be loved. Then I would be appreciated and seen and validated. And then I would have this sense of peace and joy and love for life. But does it ever work out that way? Again, maybe it kind of does for a moment, but it fades pretty quickly. So, if the kingdom of God is within you, and the kingdom of God is, like I said, this realm of infinite potentiality, but it's actually rooted in these qualities, in these feelings, in these energies that we're actually like looking for outside of ourselves, then what this precisely means is that we can actually experience any of those things right here, right now, because we already have it. Because these, what we're searching for in the sense of freedom or wholeness or peace or whatever, are just different qualities, different aspects of our true nature, beyond who we think we are. And that is why the true path of manifestation is not like trying to manifest something outside of yourself. It's letting go of all of these different limiting beliefs that keep us from who we really are. Because when we discover who we really are, we realize that we are the manifestation. We are what we've been looking for. You are what you seek. And this is what so many different mystics have said over the years. And it's amazing, but it's something that has to be directly experienced. It's something that you know deep in your bones, and it changes everything because you stop seeking, you stop chasing, You stop trying to perform in order to get something. And when that is released, there's nothing left but freedom. Why? Because the kingdom of God is. Freedom is. Abundance is. Love is. Joy is. Peace is. It's not in the future. The future doesn't exist. It's in the now. It's in the isness. What happens, though, is we get conditioned to believe otherwise. And our belief is pretty powerful. So if we believe we are like these separate, egoic beings, and we believe all of these things that we get indoctrinated with that have to do with like this sense of not being enough inherently, and these ideas around having to prove our worth and prove that we're lovable and becoming someone and all these kinds of things. Like when we get into that way of thinking, we lose sight, we forget who we really are. And then that's what creates all of this energy towards trying to make something happen, trying to create something, trying to manifest something outside of ourselves that we think will ultimately fulfill us. But again, it never does. So when I work with my clients, I have them think about a few things in regards to who they were before the narrative was formed about who they're supposed to be or who they have to become, which again are things we get conditioned with. And for the people I work with who have kids, I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, do you remember holding any one of your children for the first time? And they say, yes, of course. It was the most amazing experience of my life. It was incredible. And I can try to describe it in words, but ultimately words don't do it justice. So they'll start saying things like, all I can say is it was pure, unconditional love. I looked at my child for the first time and I had nothing but pure, unconditional love for my child. And then I say, why? What did your child do to deserve, to earn that love from you? And they say nothing. Nothing. It was just their being. They just were enough. They didn't have to earn anything. It was just their being. Inherently, they were lovable. Inherently, they were worthy. Inherently, they were absolutely enough. Like the whole question of, were they enough or not? Like that wasn't even a question in the moment when you're holding your child for the first time. It's just unconditional love without any kind of reason. And then I say, well, is that not true for every human being when they come into this world? And the answer is yes. That is what I call our original wholeness. And so from this place of being, without doing anything, without thinking anything, from our presence, we are enough. We are whole. We are absolutely love. That is our true nature, and it's not contingent on anything outside of ourselves. So what happens? How do we lose that? Why do we come into this world with that inherent essence, and then we somehow lose it? Well, the truth is we don't lose it. We forget it because someone or something tells us that we're not enough, or maybe it's indirectly, it's communicated to us. Maybe it's a matter of what we didn't receive from our parents, which then to us, it was interpreted as we are unlovable, or there's something wrong with us, or we're broken. It can be many different ways, but that programming occurs typically when we're children, and then it stays with us the rest of our lives, and the subconscious takes that and it projects, and it creates the lens by which we're seeing ourselves and others and God and the world, and everything is viewed through that lens of I'm broken, or there's something wrong with me. I need to be fixed. I need to be saved. I need this. I need that. Which was not true when you were born. And the truth is, it's never not true. But what happens is we get lost in the clouds. The clouds are the conditionings that we experience as we're growing up. Like I said, from external influences. And they're very real, subjectively, very real experiences. A lot of it has to do with past wounds and stuff, and all of those things are very real, and they absolutely shape who we think we are, these egoic structures. But they're not truth in the sense of, even when you're going through this patch of clouds, imagine you're flying, you're going through these patch of clouds, you're never not in the sky. And the sky is infinite, it's clear, it's beautiful, right? And it always is that way. But when we're in the clouds, it can seem like it's not. It can seem like things are like this, and it's confusing, and it's scary. And it's giving us like this limited sense. But then when the clouds dissipate, or when we fly out of the clouds, when we transcend the clouds, there's nothing but infinite, pure possibility, infinite potentiality. And that is the truth of our being beyond what we get programmed with. And so when we start to remember this, and the remembering process happens simultaneously as these different beliefs, these limiting beliefs that have been within our subconscious start to dissolve, we start to see, we start to know, we start to remember. And that's when everything changes, because now we start living from that divine being that we are. And there's a flow to our life. And we're not trying to like make things happen. We're not trying to attract this or attract that. No, attraction just becomes this effortless byproduct of who we are. Because again, we are divine. And so our magnetism increases when we let go of these beliefs that have been keeping us in these different egoic narratives. And by the way, the reason this is so real and powerful is because we believe these things about ourselves. And belief is very powerful. Just look into the placebo effect. That will show you how powerful belief is. But what happens is, like when we're growing up and these external influences are shaping who we think we are, it's not necessarily the external event or circumstance or the person that creates this egoic identity within us. It's when we believe whatever the person is saying or doing or communicating to us directly or indirectly, it doesn't matter. But when we start to believe these things about ourselves, that is when it becomes a very real experience in our lives, and it shows up in the form of patterns. So life keeps presenting us with different things, relationships, different circumstances, different events that reflect back to us where we're not free, where we're still living limited. And this is where, when we're triggered, or when we notice like there's two ways, okay? There's two ways in my experience where we can start to identify what's actually within our subconscious and the dominant belief about ourselves. The first way is through triggers, what we're triggered by. When we get triggered by something, and we can really sit with the energy or the feeling underneath the trigger, that is a trail that will lead us into a much deeper subconscious belief about ourselves that we inherited through some kind of programming growing up. The second thing is what we're saying about ourselves, what we're talking about ourselves all the time. And this is something that is very subtle, but it can be self-talk in the head, it can be stuff we're saying out loud to ourselves, or it can be what we're saying to other people about ourselves, which is often one of the best ways to notice it, to identify it, because you're talking to someone else, and if you have a friend or someone you trust, You can tell them, hey, if you notice me talking negatively about myself or just from like this limited perspective, please let me know. Please stop me and help me to notice it, to become aware of it. Because again, these two things, triggers and what we're saying, our words about ourselves, are the number one ways, in my experience, in my opinion, to actually go within, to go into the subconscious and to start to investigate whatever this limiting belief is that we've been carrying for our entire lives, that has been shaping our experiences and all the things that come with being human. So, very important. But anyway, when the limiting belief about who we think we are, which again is some kind of egoic construct, it's a narrative, when that is dissolved, there's like nothing left to become, because your true nature, which is the kingdom of God, pure isness, simply is. And you discover for yourself in a very direct way, in a very real way, that the abundance, the peace, the fulfillment, the love, all of it has always been within you, because it is what you are. You are the manifestation. And when you start to believe that, when you switch out the old limiting beliefs, when you deprogram, you enter that space of pure I amness. I am that I am, infinite potentiality. Then you start to reprogram with the truths of your divine nature. All of a sudden, life starts to shift dramatically. All of a sudden, there's a flow to your being. And the law of attraction goes from being like some kind of method that you were practicing in order to get something to the essence of who you are. So attraction becomes very natural and effortless. And you're repelling things out of your life that are not in alignment with your true, authentic self. And it's very freeing. It just feels like this is what embodiment, this is what alignment is all about. And the best word I think to use for it is freedom. It's just freedom to be. And it's not scary, because the ego will lead us to believe that, oh, if you let go of this identity, this narrative, then you won't have as much control and then you won't get what you want. But that's not true, because you've been living that way. Maybe you're someone that's been living that way for a while. You've been trying that. You've been trying to live from this place of performance and striving and doing to be and trying to earn all these things. And it's exhausting. Like, my question to you would be, how is that working out for you? How is that working out? Has it worked? And you might be saying, yeah, it worked this one time, or sometimes it works. Well, okay, even if it works, even if it sometimes gets you what you think you want, has it ever produced freedom, like real, genuine freedom? I would assume that the answer is probably not, right? Because again, that's not how it works. So if you've been living this way your entire life, trying to perform, trying to, like I said, become something, attain something, chasing all these different things in order to be happy, and that hasn't produced freedom, then what if now is the time to try something different, to switch perspectives? And I want to say something. I just said try, but this other way, this other approach actually has nothing to do with trying, because trying is still some kind of reinforcement of this underlying belief of right now I don't have, right now I am not enough. See? So even the trying, even when we get into things like spiritual stuff or healing stuff, a lot of times, like, it can become something where if the belief going into it is there's something wrong with me, I'm broken, and I need to fix myself. So I'm doing this technique or that method, or I'm going to this retreat or this conference in order to be fixed, in order to be made whole, in order to be healed. Most of the time, that belief is coming from the deeper belief of I'm unworthy, which again, trying to fix yourself, trying to do all these things just ends up being something that reinforces the dominant belief that's been controlling your life. So just something to be aware of. And language, and I just had to stop and pause and kind of call myself out, because I used a word that I know for me in my past, typically implies trying to get somewhere. It's still reinforcing that illusion of separation. It's not the truth of oneness. It's not the truth of wholeness. So there you go. But this other approach is the complete opposite of doing and striving and even trying. It's letting go. It's surrendering to the flow of life. It's trusting in the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, and trusting that this flow is something that will take you into wherever you need to be, because this flow is an extension of your being. So this is something that, a lot of times people think that letting go is giving up. It's not giving up, it's giving in. It's saying, you know what, I've tried to become something. I've tried to hold up these different egoic roles and personas for so long. It's exhausting. It's tiring. It's the same patterns, the same cycles, the same familiar feelings. I'm done with this. I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something real. I'm ready for something true. It's that process of dissolving the attachment to the idea of it has to be this way, to the realization and the ultimate freedom experience of, wait a second, everything I've been trying to get, everything I've been wanting has always been right here, right now. It's always been within me. It's always been me. And that's the truth that sets you free, knowing that. And from this place, like I said, is it scary at first? Yeah, because your nervous system isn't used to living this way. It's used to control. It's used to anxiety. It's used to trying to put on this persona in order to get something, in order to please someone, in order to be validated, loved, and accepted. And so it's challenging, but it's worth it, because this is freedom. This is freedom, and freedom is everything the soul has been longing for, because freedom is home. Freedom is what we are. And from this place of I am whole, I am enough, I have, I am, the need, the wanting, all that starts to fade away. So you're not even focused on trying to manifest something, trying to attract something. Because from your being, it is now flowing into your life without you even really worrying about it or thinking about it. Everything that's in alignment with your soul and your soul's journey starts to fall into place in a very natural and effortless way. So, yeah, this is something for me has been life-changing. It's been absolutely life-changing, because I'm someone that has tried the opposite route for many years, and I thought that that's what life was all about, and that's why we're here, and the better the performance or the higher your score or the more you have, the more you are, the better you are, but it's just not it. And eventually we all, I think, will see that and recognize that, and that's when things will really start to change on a collective level. That's really a major aspect of awakening, seeing through that illusion and resting in your being and giving yourself permission to be yourself in the world around you, not caring about what people think about you. Authenticity is like the highest vibrational frequency that there is. So, yeah, it's incredible what happens when you let go and the clouds dissipate and all that's left is the kingdom of God, infinite potentiality, your true nature shining brighter than the sun. That is where the magic happens. That is where life becomes enjoyable. That is where life becomes a play. It becomes a dance. It becomes something that is a beautiful rhythm. Yeah, it's not like this thing that you're having to control and make happen, and what about this? And it becomes a rhythm. It becomes a harmony. Yeah. So I think that's it for today. If you found this video helpful, informative, or insightful, please leave a thumbs up at the bottom of the screen and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.